The grid technique is a method used to draw images accurately from a photograph. So the first thing you'll need is a photograph of whatever you want to draw. Now create a grid on the photograph. You could draw the grid directly on the photograph, or you could draw the grid on a piece of acetate placed on top of a photograph. The size of the photograph will dictate the size of the squares in your grid. Now go to your drawing surface and create a grid on the drawing surface. It's important that the grid you create on your drawing surface is proportional to the grid on your photograph. This means that there are the same number of squares on both the photograph and the drawing surface. You may choose to label the columns in your grid so that when you begin to draw each square, there's no confusion on where you should be. You may also decide to number the rows in your grid. This way, again, you can use the numbers and the letters to determine where you are in the drawing. For example, this square would be D4. Here's that square in the photograph that we're using. When you're looking at squares and drawing the individual squares, you should forget about everything else. Concentrate only on the values, shapes, and forms that are there. And don't think, hey, we're drawing Abraham Lincoln's eye. Here's an example of what your drawing surface would look like. In this case, we're looking at square D4, and we're only concentrating on the values and shapes and lines that happen within that square. This way, we can only focus on what we're actually seeing. Here's the process broken down into an image. There's the photo reference and the drawing surface. This has been another video tutorial brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com.